If you haven't played Sifu before, you are in for a treat. A tale of revenge combined with a fantastic combat system that utilises brutal combos and satisfying environmental finishes with unique roguelike elements makes Sifu one of the best games to release this year. You play as a nameless kung fu warrior who sets out to avenge his father's death at the hands of the murderous former student named Yang. The twist is that you're carrying a magical talisman that allows you to be revived after dying, though in exchange for another go at life, you age a few years after every death. So far so good, but what makes Sifu stand out is how satisfying it is to play. Punches feel brutal and carry some real weight, and the sheer variety of combos make the game's many battles feel unique and enjoyable, which is handy because when paired with the revival mechanic, the chances are that you will be fighting each battle many times. And therein lies the beauty of Sifu. So much of the gameplay is based around repetition, doing the same thing again and again and again to make progress. By fighting the same bosses and enemies time and time again, learning their attacks and routines, and nailing the timings of attacks, the game makes you truly feel like a fighter who has spent years honing their craft. Rather than feel boring and repetitive, it's truly one of the game's strengths. And it becomes a core gameplay element as you learn new attacks and combos via an upgrade menu that's accessible when you die or at various shrines found throughout each stronghold. With a truly refined combat system and a difficult but fair learning curve, Sifu does a great job of putting you in a variety of situations that utilise this acquired knowledge and put your skills to the test. Enemies come thick and fast, and elements found within the environment can be used to enhance combat. Bottles can be thrown, bats can be swung, and stools can be kicked to gain every advantage and prevent you from being overpowered. The Switch handles all of this surprisingly well, but some compromises have been made. Having already played Sifu on PS5, this version does suffer when it comes to visual fidelity. Lines look blurry and textures suffer from a lack of detail and definition, which is only heightened during the many frantic battles. Many will agree that this is a worthy and obvious sacrifice to get Sifu running successfully on the Switch, but in comparison to the earlier versions of the game, it is lacking visually. Another complaint, albeit a minor one, is how Sifu uses sound and vibration to help get across the visceral violence of each fight. Sound design is another great strength of Sifu, from its soundtrack to the audio effects that each strike makes as it connects with an opponent. This, combined with the vibration of your controller, really can help get across the satisfying combat in a way that many games struggle to do. However, here, I think it's just a little bit overused. So much so that I ended up turning off the vibration feature altogether. It was way too strong for my preferences, to the point that it was taking away from my enjoyment and becoming a bit of a distraction as my Switch buzzed and growled like an angry wasp every time I struck somebody. Adjusting the vibration settings in the menu didn't really help, so I settled by turning it off. Problem solved, but a shame nonetheless. When it comes to judging the Switch version of Sifu, things are a little tricky. At its core, it's still the same Sifu, and it's coming with all the post-release updates that really beef the game up, so fans and newcomers alike will still have that same great experience getting to grips with its frantic and reactive combat. But is it the best version? No, not really. If you've played Sifu on PlayStation or PC, there are a few noticeable differences that detract from the experience and demote this version into last place. All things considered though, it's still the same game, and playing it in the palm of your hand is a satisfying and powerful experience that shouldn't be ignored if you haven't played Sifu before. And that is the end of this review. Thank you as always for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, do us a solid, go on down below, drop a comment, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to give the bell icon a nudge so that you're notified whenever we've got new stuff. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.